Okay, this is an open letter to the CEOs of the big three, Pope Francis, and a message to Trump about the wall. So I'm gonna see if I can do some invites before I get into this. Let some people see I'm on live. See where it go from there. All right, I'm winding this down to some people that wanted to be sure that they heard what I had to say about this subject matter. So basically, I'm gonna start with the big three. But before I get into that, for a reference, I will request them to ask whoever they think they need to ask to verify what I'm about to tell them. And this is what I'm about to tell them. The big three and the common worker is at the forefront of a new age. So, before we get started, I want to go into a little bit about being the Prince of Peace, the Crown Prince of Peace. What does that mean, and how does that affect me addressing Chrysler, Ford, and General Motors, me addressing Pope Francis, and me addressing the President of the United States? And it goes directly to this. By legend, I am the Holy Grail, the last of the Grail Kings, the Spear of Destiny, the Sun Grail, the Holy Grail, the Holy Blood, that which was concealed through time and traveled over distance in order to escape the persecution and the resistance of the wicked. So, being Morpheus Mysticus Megas, emissary of light, redeemer of the righteous, condemner of the wicked, I begin with stating my authority from the highest heavens, being that I speak from the Galactic Council seat in the heavens, seat number 50. On earth, I am the crown prince of heaven and earth, to be crowned King of Kings and Lord of Lords by Christ herself. That being said, I am heir apparent to all property on earth. I have the first claim of right to both depose and restore whole entire royal families. I have been authorized to restructure and rebuild any and all rogue priesthoods. In the process of this, I've also been instructed to seek a fair and balanced recompense for the righteous as we make a transition into a better era. When we speak of a better era, we speak of the Aquarian age. Having done my due diligence, having done my research, having been raised and passed by masters, I have been selected. Being selected doesn't only require that you do your due diligence. it also requires that you have the blood of the Holy Grail, which means that I ain't the only one with the blood. There's more of us with the blood. So now you get to understand why the exercising of blood rights. So my address to the big three is this. May the 1st, you have an option. You will give the people the chance to have the Prince of Peace delegate their contract for them. It will be held at Lake Orient, because the prophecy says that the Son of Man must rise out of Orient. And therefore, May the 1st, which is the International Day of the Worker, from that day forward, will be the day that Ford, Chrysler, and GM CEOs will converge on Lake Orient in order to answer the workers. If the workers so choose to have the Prince of Peace represent them and speak on their behalf according to the conditions and the suffrage of the worker. Having been a worker, I understand the struggle of the worker. I have walked with workers, talked with workers, and endured the same suffering, struggles, and indignations as any other worker. I understand the problem that the worker has clearly as a worker. I understand the problem that the worker has in relation to the company from the position of the worker. So, being in any confusion amongst any other CEOs as to the validity of what I'm telling you, I am instructing you to call your Pentagon, your CIA, your FBI, your DEA, your Mossad, your Pope, call your royal families. They all know I'm here. They all know what I'm here for. And they all know I'm finna set the record straight. So the CEOs have an option. They can either allow the people the opportunity to have the Prince of Peace negotiate their contracts, or go with the standard status quo of recession contracts by the international representatives of the workers' union. That being said, we move on to Pope Francis. I want anybody who know a reporter to put this on the wire to ask Pope Francis to answer to this. Pope Francis, you will have approximately till May the 5th to have your pedophile priests organize in exiting the entire Catholic papacy. This is a direct order from heaven. You have no option in this matter. This is a direct order. You will take your pedophile priests. You will leave with no assets. You will leave with nothing. You will seek work and employment until such time as the people or the Christ figure out a fit judgment for your entire rogue, pedophile, imposter priesthood. You already know I was going to send this message. You've been waiting on it, and everybody else has been waiting on it as well. So you have until May the 5th to have your pedophile priests return the priesthood back to the noon priestesses and restore the Black Madonna as the prime seat in the papacy, as it was before you came and your predecessors, before you falsely claimed the right to the souls of the people of earth and all of the land and the souls of the people that roam the land. For these indiscretions, you have no further standing in the church at all. And the next thing, we go to Trump and the wall. For those who don't understand why Trump really wanted the wall built, the there's a couple documents you need to visit. You will visit the Readiness Exercise 1984. It was written by Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North shortly before the Iran-Contra. Iran-Contra exposed Readiness Exercise 1984, which was the program to exterminate African Americans in America at such time of crisis. But that's not the part about the wall. In that exercise, there is a subsection. It's called Operation Cable Splicer or Operation Cable Cutter. And in there, it warns about a mass exodus at the Mexican border, 1984. This is when Ronald Reagan was president, and this is before Donald Trump ever anticipated running in this election. And so we already see that the wall was already scheduled to be in place to prevent this exodus. But this is the part of the exodus that they don't tell you. That Cinco de Mayo is not a mythological day. Cinco de Mayo is a reminder to the people of where we call Mexico, Central American region, on into southwestern United States. It's the reminder that in the final days, if the beast refuse to surrender the power to the Prince of Peace, that he will march the dead on Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th, the Day of the Dead. All Hallows Eve last year, all souls had been collected from the underworld. There are none left. So there's plenty of room for all of the imposters. Plenty of room. And there's a lot of time you can spend there. It's already been evacuated. She already went and got her kids that y'all held hostage by false pretenses. So, I don't really care if y'all take me serious or not, because I came to test some shit up. But she told me to save as many as I could before the destruction ensues. So, in trying to save as many as I can, and in staying with the protocols of war, exhausted all means of diplomacy, we have options to avert catastrophe on Earth. We don't have to have a bloody and gory transition as prophecy has told would happen, because the victory in heaven has already been won. So the only thing left is the change of power on Earth for the people to see that this is already etched in stone. This cannot be changed. This will not be undermined. So anybody that can get this into the public domain, if you want to know if I'm serious and you want to know who to ask, who is this guy who called himself the seventh sun rising in America, telling the Pope to get off the throne, saying he's the crown prince of heaven and earth, and that he will be coronated in the Congo as the king? You can ask the Dalai Lama. He'll tell you who I am. You can ask Siddhar, what's his name? Siddhar Guru. He'll tell you who I am. You can ask your government officials, and they can tell you as well. I've spoken with agents from Central Intelligence already. They already came to ask, how did I want to resolve the contract issue? I want to resolve the contract issue with the big three by allowing the people to hold their destiny in their hands. And from this point, we will be able to come to an equitable agreement between the company and the workers. We don't worry about a threat of overseas activity because I will close their doors in China. I will close their doors in Mexico. It's not a problem. They will not use overseas as a threat in order to push further concessions upon the worker. There is a program laid out. There's a program laid out, and it's still in development for the May 1st Workers' May Day. So I'm not going to drag this out. I just wanted to get this information out in the public domain. Pope Francis got to May the 5th before he started seeing adverse reactions in his priests around the world. The plagues of heaven will be unleashed on their ass if they don't start getting out of there. And if you think I'm playing, when they get the word, they will get to moving because they already knew I was going to give the order. There's some more orders that must be given in the cleanup. But those are different orders for a different day. As for now, this is how it is. So from the Prince of Peace, the Crown Prince of Heaven and Earth, this is the order for the day. And we're going to get this cleaned up with as little bloodshed as possible. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. And I hope y'all ignore me so I can start calling some shit y'all ain't never seen out of places y'all never knew existed in order to set these people straight. So don't panic. If you righteous, they not going to bother you. But if you part of the chain of the wicked, you will be food for the beast. Trust me on this one. And I'll leave y'all with that, and I hope y'all enjoy.
Called the old guys of the voodoo, the Orisha. The only motherfuckers that got any control over this shit. No matter what condition they put the people in, we gon' figure this shit out if you call us. This is why they kept telling people don't use voodoo. All voodoo is making your ancestors that's capable of changing your condition manifest in human form. Once they manifest...
Y'all ain't had no problem doing that ancestor money.
Once they manifest in human form, they listen to the music, art, and the entertainment in order to extract the problem. Because the problem is going to come out as a blues song, so to speak, a sad song. And you listen to the sad song, and you one of the old guys, it gives for you to understand, and you get to calibrate to the actual problem itself so that you can rise above it. Right? So in the constant wailing of the people, you know, the continuous lamentations, as they say in biblical terminology, and the call upon the ancient ones to return to order to resolve the matter, somebody knew how to call us. Right? So when Garvey say, come back with the millions of ancestors, I'm going to give you the math, and I'm going to see if you can keep up, because it's real complicated.
Don't look it up, you cheat.
Listen, 1 represent 1,000. 2 represent 10,000. Right? 3 represent 1,000,000. And if if 3 people on the same page, they aware who they are in their ancestral line, you got 1,000,000 ancestors with 3 people agreeing. If it's a righteous cause. Now, let's say all 3 of y'all on some bullshit and ancestors know it. You got 1,000,000 motherfuckers that don't mean you no good that's going to be back in your play. Because all our ancestors wasn't no motherfucking good motherfuckers, or they wouldn't have sold us the fuck out. So now, the ones that sold us out, the motherfuckers they sold us to, the motherfuckers that